I am a shadow spun on strings, a puppet's laugh where silence clings. The moonlight mocks, it bends and bows to the whispers of my solemn vows. In a dancing hollow, a jester's hollow, where the echoes call but none will follow.
Hey, Hollow Dwellers, welcome back to Jester's Hollow, a place where games about talking sometimes are best understood by what they refuse to say. Out of Words is a cooperative, handcrafted love story about two friends who literally lose their mouths at the exact moment they were finally ready to tell each other how they feel. It takes a single, painful, familiar moment we can't find the right words and stretches it into an entire world built out of that silence. And then it asks something quite radical. What if connection doesn't begin with speaking, but with acting anyway? Kurt and Karla are best friends standing on the edge of becoming something more. They reach that fragile instant where everything you have ever felt depends on whatever the sentence survives the journey out of your throat. It doesn't. They choke on their confession, their mouths vanish, and the ground gives way beneath them, and they fall, not metaphorically but literally, into a world called Vokabulantis. What should have been an awkward teenage moment becomes a surreal pilgrimage through the ruins of language itself. On paper, this is a coming-of-age story about first love, shyness. But Out of Words does something more ambitious. It externalizes the emotional paralysis. It turns panic, hesitation, fear, and rejection into geography. Feelings become physical obstacles, metaphors gain weight, and communication is no longer about what you say but what you are willing to risk for the another person. Each inch of Vokabulantis is physically crafted by hand. Clay figure, paper grass, miniature books, skeleton water, real materials sculpted, cut, thumb pressed, photographed, scanned, and finally assembled inside Unreal Engine. Even the environment are imperfect. Fingerprints visible, edges rough, textures uneven. This is not just an aesthetic choice. Out of Word is a game about language, but more importantly, about the effort behind language. About the labor it takes to shape something fragile and personal and offer it to someone else. Kurt and Karla doesn't even look like polished avatars. They look like they were made by someone's hands. Slightly uneven, slightly vulnerable, slightly human. Early on, you see them as kids who can say anything to each other, and then the moment the relationship might change, the ability to speak disappears entirely. The fall into Vokabulantis becomes the emotional freefall we recognize instantly. That moment when your interior world suddenly feels too loud, too big, too impossible to translate into words. Vokabulantis isn't just a fantasy backdrop, it's a consequence. City is built from cut-up books and typographical debris. Corridors are formed from stacked volumes. Tunnels wind through broken spires of loose pages. Everywhere you go, language surrounds you. Not as speech, but as object. It is the most literal image imaginable of a world drowning in words. And Kurt and Karla cannot use a single one. This is where Out of Words makes his quite critique. The problem isn't vocabulary. The world already has too much of it. What's missing is courage, the willingness to step forward, and without a script, the inhabitants of this world feels like exaggerated responses of that absence. Moon chases down from the sky, all cosmic powers and sigh-like intensity. The Prince of Many Colors performs prestige he hasn't yet grown into. These characters are theatrical, almost absurd, but deeply recognizable. Identity is still under construction, sleeps researched for imagined audience. Very early on, Out of Words reveals its core idea through a single creature. Aleph, a light blue winged being, part feather, part stingray, part spirit, specially described as the physical manifestation of Kurt and Karla's relationship. Whoever holds Alpha has their gravity reversed. Floors become ceiling, falling becomes rising, and with a press of a button, Alpha can be thrown to the other player, instantly swapping who is grounded and who is adrift. Mechanically, this is cooperative platforming puzzle about timing. Emotionally, it is devastatingly precise. To progress, you must jump into pitch, trusting that your partner will throw Alpha back at you in time to save you. And when you're holding it, you must decide when to let go, knowing that doing so destabilizes your own position. Every throw is a small act of vulnerability. You are placing that stability of your perspective in someone else's hands. Developers reportedly prototyped nearly hundreds of mechanics before discarding most of them. What remained were the ones that carried the emotional meaning. Each chapter introduces mechanics that mirror where Kurt and Karla are in their relationship. Gravity flipping emphasizes trust and shared perspective. Later section introduces weight and inertia, mechanic that resist quick fixes and easy reversals. The most striking example is Clay Golem. Inside it, each player controls one massive hand. Together, you drag the enormous body through narrow spaces built from books, clay, and architectural fragments. It's clumsy, slow, frustrating, and that awkwardness is the point. It feels like trying to fix something after it's already gone wrong. Two separate wheels trying to move one shared life forward, constantly bumping into the world. There is no elegance here, only effort. Clay isn't just material, it's a metaphor. It carries mythological weight. From ancient tablets like Gilgamesh to creation stories where humanity itself is molded from earth. Out of Words leans into this lineage by sending you beneath the city to a primordial clay lake searching for something transformative. You are told this substance can fix everything. It can't. The divine shortcut refuses to take the shape you expected because no myth can nearly resolve the messy reality of human feelings. Books, meanwhile, are everywhere. Fabricated, scanned, modernized into walls and obstacles. Knowledge piles on knowledge, language stored, preserved, archived, and still no one can say what actually matters. Eventually, Kurt and Karla seek out Mr. Speaker, a figure positioned as the ultimate authority on language. He surely can restore their mouths. He can't. Mr. Speaker is unhinged, oppressive, a symbol of rigid scripts, and instructional control over how things are allowed to be said. The relevance is simple and sharp. Your voice cannot be heard back to you by authority. It has to be taken. In Love Story, this becomes rejection of cliché, of researched confession and borrowed lines in favor of uncertain, fumbling, and genuinely adolescent. For a game so invented in vulnerability, Out of Words is often very funny. One moment has a servant of Mr. Speaker joyfully chanting about love in his job, right before screaming and fleeing as your clay golem smashes through the walls. Another pulls the camera back mid-scene to reveal how the character was physically animated, briefly breaking the illusion to celebrate the craft itself. These moments matter. These religious pressure. They remind you that vulnerability doesn't have to be measurable to be sincere. The game lets you sit with discomfort but never traps you there. Many co-op relationship games treat fiction as entertainment. They manufacture stress, they bait arguments. Out of Words does the opposite. There is no scoring, no competition, no punishment for mistakes beyond the shared effort of recovery. You are encouraged to trust the other person is trying even when the jump is mistimed or a throw goes wrong. Miscommunication exists, but it's framed as something you work through together. The game becomes a research space for relational skills, patience, timing, responsibility, and forgiveness. Director Yuan Otenger is a lifelong stop-motion filmmaker who cites the neighborhood as a formative influence. Out of Words is his first game, a long-held dream realized by merging physical fabrication with interactive design. His studio partnered with Kong Orange, bridging puppets, sets, level designs, and programming under one roof that Unity shows. Here, level design is the script. Every ledge, every gravity flip, every book pile is a line in a story that refuses to be spoken aloud. Out of Words arrives in a moment when language feels incredibly hollow, flattened into slogans, performance, and outrage cycles. This game argues quietly and firmly that connection isn't built from better phrasing, it's built from action. From stepping forward without guarantees, from throwing Aleph and trusting someone else to catch you. Because sometimes love doesn't begin with saying the right thing. Sometimes it begins when words fail and you cannot act anyway. With that, my friends, Jester's out.
I am a shadow spun on strings, a puppet's laugh where silence clings. The moonlight mocks, it bends and bows to the whispers of my solemn vow.